Howdy, it's Josh from Sea the Sea and my friend IR from Gulf Coast Scuba and our other friend Chris. And we've been diving in St. Maarten all week on our Prism 2 closed circuit rebreathers. And we're kind of heading to do our culmination dive of the week. Deep wreck, it's about 100 to 110 feet deep. And there's not a lot of information about it online because I don't think it's a heavily recreationally dived wreck due to the depth. You know, most of the dive boats out here, you know, they want to do 2 tank dives. They want to do 2 dives a day with their divers. And so when you do a dive that deep, it kind of generally tends to either require a really long surface interval on open circuit or kind of be your only dive of the day, or a tech open circuit dive with double tanks and sling bottles. We should be able to get a really nice dive time on it and chronicle the wreck pretty well. It's around 120 feet long, and we should be able to get like a 60 to 80 minute dive on our rebreathers this morning with minimal decompression time. So really excited about that. Heading to Phillipsburg to meet up with our dive boat. It's gonna be a bit of a long ride out, about 40 minutes from where we're departing from, and it should be a really nice dive. So glad to have you guys along with us. We get some questions about what is a rebreather actually. Thank you, sir. And so, the big difference between rebreather and open circuit scuba is, the fact that we don't have bubbles, and we don't use the majority of the oxygen in each of our breaths. So the core system of rebreather is every time we breathe in through the loop, we exhale. What we exhale goes through this canister here, which scrubs the carbon dioxide out. And we have a pure oxygen bottle and an air bottle on these dives, and as we deplete the oxygen, we add a bit of oxygen to fill back in, and so that way we're able to do a lot longer dives on smaller amounts of gas. And before we get in the water, we're always going to do a pre-breathe, make sure that things are functioning right, the scrubber's working, things like that.
What's your story?
We have to recognize and thank Dive Sint Maarten and Willem here for providing us their whole boat for this dive expedition today, as well as Ocean Explorers Dive Center for providing us the oxygen for our rebreathers. The wreck we're going to be diving today is the Fu Sheng. It's a Korean fridge boat that sunk off the coast of Sint Maarten in about 125 feet of water, which is what makes this such a great dive for rebreather. We should be able to get about a 60 to 80 minute dive with a decompression time on the way up of only about 20 minutes, which is so much less than if we were doing this with open circuit. We're going to be doing a live drop onto the dive site, which means that the boat is not going to moor and simply drop us in the water right above the wreck. As you're going to see, the current's pretty strong and the boat's going to have to circle back to give us our cameras and other gear, and we'll be on our way on this great dive.
We're doing this in our way. We come alive.
As we began our descent to the 100 feet, I noticed the shadow of the ship emerging out of the distance. While we were by no means the first or even first of hundreds of people to dive this wreck, there's just not a lot of information available on it online. We found the ship lying on its side, largely intact in about the 110 feet of water as reported. One of the eeriest things when diving, especially at depths greater than 50, 60 feet, is the way that water absorbs color, and most things at this depth appear just gray. And you'll see as we turn on our lights, you're able to bring back a lot of the true colors of the wreck. The Fu Sheng was sunk unintentionally, but a lot of ships are sunk intentionally because, as you'll see, these wrecks become havens for marine life and coral. One thing that we did see on the wreck, as is pretty prevalent in the Caribbean as a whole, are lionfish. Lionfish, while they appear beautiful, are invasive species and very harmful to the reef environment. And just like that, before we would have liked, our hour dive time was up, and it was time to start our ascent and our decompression stops on the way to the surface.
Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be.